people got
Nobody.
no reason to live, right?
To live, yes.
Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday.
We're singing crazy songs.
We're singing short people.
It got no body. It's got no body. It's no body.
You're right.
But no body because they're so short.
Nobody.
Cut it off.
But then short people got no reason to live.
That was terrible. That was the worst line.
That was the worst line of any song ever. Happy Friday night, everybody. Happy cocktail night. I am here, as you can see, with the Mama Bear. Happy Mother's Day weekend to all of the mothers out there and grandmothers, of course, and to Yorkie dogs and owners of Yorkie dogs. Buttons the dog is here. We are at my mom's house celebrating Friday night, cocktail night. Cheers, my dears.
Cheers, my dears.
Cheers, my dears. We are, maybe you can tell, we're already having a party. We just had some drinks and some sushi. Mother's Day weekend, all of that. Let's see who's here. Looks like all of our buddies are logged on.
Oh boy.
I'm
usually checking. Yeah,
oh,
to see
you're
all the
usually
buddies.
in there.
I'm usually in there.
Sheila, happy Friday. Good to see you. Benton City, Washington. Oh, it was a super fun Zoom yesterday. We had you were traveling yesterday.
Yeah, I was on
to
my
get
way
to our
New
lunch
Haven.
date. But we had such a fun Zoom yesterday. My hair was purple.
I know it. Yeah. That was so neat.
It was like a sign of some sort. It looked amazingly purple, and I kind of loved it.
I know it. You're gonna have to do it.
Oh man, I don't know if I can afford to, because you got to keep that stuff up. You don't just do it and then walk away. But that was so fun, Sheila. That was so fun. Martha, I missed you yesterday at Zoom. Cocktail hour from Ontario. A glorious day. Oh, Martha always says something so personalized. I can't wait either. So today, just this like last minute idea. I was thinking, what can I do for cocktail night? I didn't feel like looking at a book again. I just wasn't feeling it. And I thought, you know what? Funny sayings, because someone had said something to me earlier in the day. I can't remember what it was. Somebody said one of these sayings I love, like, don't be a beggar sitting on a bag of gold or something like that. And I thought, there's a million of those.
That's a great
I love
saying.
that one. I couldn't find one that really fit that.
Spend the money. That's what we do. We just spend.
But also, don't be a beggar sitting on a bag of gold. Like, you know, if you have like a great talent or a great gift,
this is true.
Don't just sit on it and let it rot. Like,
because it is a gift.
It is a gift. You're just sitting on it, right?
Yes.
But I couldn't find the proper rug to sort of demonstrate that's
hard.
Saying. Yeah. So I didn't use that one, but somebody said something. I think it might have been that one to me, and I thought, there are so many of those great sayings out there, and you can really relate some of them to like hooked rug designs. So that's what we're doing tonight. Some people sent funny ones, some people sent serious ones. There's all kinds of sayings and proverbs and one-liners. Brenda, I got yours. I'm going to use them for the first ones for the next one. I put this together so quickly. I was like, I mean, it was unbelievable. It was real easy goings. So Brenda, I'm going to use yours next time because I loved them all. And there'll certainly be a part 2 because this was very fun to dig into. Christine, happy Friday in Brockport, New York. So close. Chrissy, happy Friday. Cheers, my dears.
Oh my God, we got to do it. We're seeing the cheers.
Oh my God, we're going to be in trouble. Really. Kirsten, happy Friday. Good to see you. Oh, Kirsten, we got to get together. You're not that far away. We really need to get together. Linda, good evening. Cheers, my dears.
Oh my God. I'm going to take a
dears.
sip,
New Jersey. Mama Helen is there. She is there. We are having Mother's Day fun. Let's see. I have got these weird in-between glasses on that it's hard to see that far away. Isn't that crazy? That's bad. Happy early Mother's Day to Deanna and Helen. Thank you so much. It is fun to celebrate. We celebrate everything, but this is a legit one. Definitely. Christine. See, there's a special audience for when you're here too, and we can do our whole Mutt and Jeff thing.
Exactly.
Patricia, happy Friday. Great to see you. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Joy, great to see you. Joy did cheers. We got to do it again. Cheers, my dears. Here we go. I feel like I got fish eggs all through my teeth. You know, all those little crackly things.
They're not showing, from the top of the sushi,
Oh, I don't want to waste them either, you know. If I discover them, I want to chew them and pop them. I don't want to waste them. I don't want to be a beggar sitting on a bag of gold with these fish eggs in my mouth.
It's sitting on a bag of fish eggs.
Exactly. Lisa. Oh, Lisa gave us a cheers too. Let's do one more. Cheers, my dears. And then we'll get going. Happy Friday, Lisa. And Lily and April. Happy Friday. Cheers, my dears.
All familiar names. Yep.
Oh, look who's here. Our love, Carol.
Oh, hi,
Happy
Carol.
Mother's Day to you too.
Happy Mother's.
To you too. So
Yeah.
it is Mother's Day. We have a bunch of things to show. But I think the first thing I will show you is the very small, her gift is tomorrow. My sister's coming too, and we're gonna order some fancy food again and have a porch party on the back porch.
The weather's good, yeah.
So I brought you a small gift to go along with tomorrow, which is like the main event. The main event, Barbara Streisand. The main event. And you can see that the wrapping paper didn't quite fit the item.
So cute.
How poorly judged was that, right? But this is the first. This is the
interesting. He was interested. He said, "I think there's food in
Since when do you punch or hook buttons? Really?" He's like,
"Did I do it with strings of bologna?"
Punch with bologna and salami.
So this is the first set of the Fiestaware yarn.
Oh my
So the
God.
Fiestaware yarn is out. I think I forgot to put the link in. It is on Ribbon Candy Hooking. The Fiestaware set, of course, is based on the beautiful, starting in the 1930s, collectible ceramic tableware, right? Dinnerware, beautiful colors that started out very limited palette in the first half of the 20th century. The tomato, celery, sage, marigold, sunflower, that palette that you think of when you think of Fiestaware. But as time went on, Fiestaware changed and evolved, just like everything does. Tried to keep up to date. And I used some colors that were more 80s colors, which I think of as my generation, where you get the sort of teals and the dusty rose and the lilac, which is like a nice purple, very, very 80s type colors that came and went within 10 years, but they were beautiful, and I think they really, oh, thanks, Chrissy. She says, y'all are so cute together. But yeah, so this is the first line. It's 20 colors in the Fiestaware, and it gave me the idea of doing like an all vintage summer. Like if I could just have some help and think about some other like vintage things that we love that we could really milk through the summer. Fiestaware was such a no-brainer because Jay had like a huge set of it come for his auction that just went up today, like 50-something lots of Fiestaware with like multiple pieces in each lot. And I saw the pieces on the shelf and I thought, oh my
That's
God.
it. That's the inspiration.
This is like the next yarn set. This is just so, so beautiful. So here it is.
Oh boy. Don't let little buttons fall under the table.
Oh, he won't.
Oh my God. Look at these colors.
It's good.
He's coming to see
If
Mommy.
I do
He
say
knows
so
I'm busy. There
myself.
he goes.
Oh, he's out.
Oh
So
my God.
we'll
Look
flip
at
it this way because that has
you're
the
gonna
tag.
see.
So
Look at those colors.
yeah,
That's
this
right.
is we've got all our weird lights on us for the show, but yeah, this is the set.
Oh my
It's 20
God.
colors.
1, 2, 3, 4 greens? Is it like in 4
It's 4 greens.
Oh, 5? Oh
They're
no, that's
all-
a blue green. Yeah.
Yeah, they're blue greens. Like they're different ones. There's like meadow, turf, chartreuse. They're like all different greens. And I listed
love
them
it.
separately on the website. But we've got other. This is paprika. This is I think mulberry. This is the lilac from the 80s.
Beautiful.
The purple.
And then a heathery lilac.
Yeah, there's a vintage rose and a regular rose.
Oh, that's
This is the
vintage.
regular rose. This pink one that was later, and this is the vintage rose.
Vintage.
That was their first rose. And then this pretty dark teal is called juniper. They had all kinds. Apricot was the light peach one. Vintage ivory was their off-white. Marigold is marigold. What do I want to say? Persimmon. Persimmon.
Here we
Why
go.
do
We
I
got it at the
always
same
reverse that? Persimmon. So there was a bunch of.
Thank you, sweetie.
You're so welcome. That's not your gift. That's just.
Oh,
part
that
of
is
your
good.
gift.
It's going to be inspiration.
Inspiration. So these are 2-ply. So these will go, if you have the punch that I sell,
love that.
these will go through like butter to keep it all Barbara, right? Like butter. Oh, I'm sorry, I just stepped on the dog's face.
I didn't know
I'm
he
so
was
sorry,
back.
guys.
I didn't
Right
know
on
he
his
was going
face.
back.
So the Fiestaware is out. It's a great set. You can punch with it, hook with it. I just love
I just
the
said to
palette.
you today, I've got to order that, and you just went,
No, it was already half wrapped. It was like a quarter wrapped and hiding under the table. So let's see. My mom was working on, when we were at Cape May, was it last weekend or the weekend before?
two weekends ago.
The weekend before. Is your transmission frozen or, oh no. All right, so Linda's got a frozen transmission. That is the last thing we need,
Does
right?
everybody have that? Because we see each other across time, but
I do, Lily. I'm just catching up with other stuff. I took a few days off like a week ago, and I'm still paying for that. So I do. I'm just getting my act together. Oh, Relda's here. Happy Friday night. I'm wondering if our transmission is okay. Because Linda's
anyone
only in New
else
Jersey.
say?
Not yet. No, not frozen. Okay, so Chrissy's good. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's okay for you,
Would
Linda.
it freeze for you on your screen, or it never does
Not
that?
necessarily.
No,
Not
okay.
necessarily. I never
Yeah.
know when something's wrong.
Oh,
What punch do you sell? Lily, I sell a punch that I get from South America. There's a girl called Maria that has like a punch company, and they publish a magazine. And it's like it's the punch like an Oxford style punch as opposed to an ultra punch Russian miniature punch. It is not an Oxford punch, and it is not an Oxford rip-off. It's like an apricot colored punch. And we have found through experimentation, we agree that the larger punches, they sell 4 sizes. The larger sizes they sell are less successful. They're less easy to punch. But the smaller size, the second size up, is the one that I stock. And it's great for 2-ply yarn like this set. Most of my sets, it goes right through, no snags,
Beautiful.
no hesitation. But it's also great for people that are trying to keep it cost effective and maybe go to like the box stores like Joann's and Michael's and get the acrylic yarn. This is also the punch needle for that weight. So this would be more like a fine punch needle if we're talking about translating to Amy Oxford as opposed to the regular. But it's very inexpensive on the website. I forget what I sell it for, like 13, 14, something like
guess.
that.
I know it's low.
And in my opinion,
Yeah.
it works just as well at least. So I've been using that one exclusively at this point for the 2-ply and acrylic weight yarns, sport yarns, worsted yarns, and lower. So, oh, good, you're back, Linda. Good, good, good. Oh, good. Lily came on, Chrissy came on, somebody else. Liz came on. Liz said, Brimfield here we come. Oh, you're not kidding. It's not yet though, Liz, is it? I know it's in September and it's in the spring, but let's nail down what date it is in the spring. Maybe we can go together. Mm-hmm. I am ready to go. I've never gone to Brimfield as much as I've always loved antiquing, partly because I lived abroad for so much in my grown-up life, but partly because I don't know if I can handle going to a flea market that size. When I see other people and I know they're not shopping for Hummels, I know they're like after what I'm after. I get terrible stomach cramps, you know, I get sweaty, I get armpity, clammy, upset, agitata, just not normal, not normal symptoms for a happy shopping day. So for that reason, I don't know if I can trust myself to go to a giant place like Brimfield where there's so many good things. I'm so scared I'm going to see a nice rug in someone else's hands and I'm going to be crying myself to sleep for the next 6 months. But I'd be willing to give it a shot, right? I can put on my big girl pants and give it a shot. Thumbs up, please.
Yes.
When we went to Cape May,
Yes.
she started working on her cat. I think you saw a preview of it, at least in
A few
Zoom.
people did, I think, on Zoom. Yeah.
We saw it on Zoom. This is her original design that I think is over the top, fantastic. Do you have a name for it?
I don't.
Ooh.
I haven't thought about a name for it.
Well, you set out this design, you punched it like crazy, you were insanely fast at it, and you made some changes that turned out to be really...
I think it's better for the design.
I think so,
It's kind
too.
of a busy design, but...
It's a busy design. Shall we show it?
I haven't put the border on yet. Do you want to
No.
hold it up?
We're just partway through, and you can show us...
I haven't done a border for it yet.
I mean, how great is this? You know, this to me looks so French, like French illustration. You know, like
Does a little bit, yeah.
Mid-century French illustration.
I think it was Klimt inspired too, the swirls
Definitely
and stuff.
Klimt, yeah, because you were working on Klimt at the same time.
Yep. And there's metallics in there. There's quite
There's
a few
metallics. Let me see if I can show you.
Do you know I used one of those whole rolls of that metallic?
Oh, I'm
yarn
not surprised.
to do that side.
We went to a craft store in Cape May, and they had, you know, these expensive novelty yarns. And Mama got like a couple of skeins of this
fuchsia and a purple.
very thin metallic.
Yeah.
And you were like doubling it. You were
triple
tripling it up.
Yeah.
And we got, let me show them this side. See if I can come into focus here. There
That's
we go.
sparkly. The sparkly showing.
Real metallic. And she's saying she went through the whole skein, and I'm not surprised. That's that color purple pop that I do. That was in the swatch kit. And then there's some more metallic
metallics
here.
in the curtain on
Now,
the
did you
side.
put the second metallic in?
Yeah, it's the fuchsia. I use the other.
Okay, so one is
like a deep purple,
okay.
and the other one's more of a.
I see. So there's
purpley
two different metallics.
Yeah.
Now you had the I think the scroll is partly what's making me think of it as French because it looks very Klimt, but the scroll reminds me of beautiful ironwork, like on a balcony in Paris kind of thing. Beautiful.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah. So she had. Oh, hey Dave, good to see you. Ryan Whiskey and Ginger. Oh, that's one of my ginger ale. That's one of my favorites. I love Maker's Mark and ginger ale too. So good. Relda says she loves it, Mama. But it's a beautiful piece, and you did have something up here, right?
I
You
had a design above the cat's head trying to pull the colors in, and then it would just look too distracting, so I just pulled it out and did the various purples.
And what you did was the classic sort of hit or miss. You went around, punching wool strips.
Yes, those are wool strips, exactly. It's a combination of yarn and wool strips.
Yeah. So it goes to show, I mean, I'm not successful punching wool strips. I just do not have the sort of the finesse. But my mom does. And you see how in this open spot where she had another scroll that she felt was a bit distracting, she took it out and she just ran that hit or miss yarn right around. And you can see what a sort of benefit to the whole composition that was. It really holds it together.
It was making it too busy, you know.
Too busy. You know, it's good to make a call. When you make a decision like that, you feel it in your gut and your heart. You just know that it's the right decision. I can't even picture what the thing was.
Yeah. You know, it was just a design that kind of fit that space, but it had turquoise and this yellow, and it had this turquoise, and I forget it had another color in it.
Well, you know, that's the thing, right? You know, when you're doing composition, you so want to fill the space. Yeah. You want to fill the empty space.
And make it interesting.
Make it all interesting, make it a nice, tight, and full composition. But it's not until you start going that you sometimes realize that there's too much. Yeah. And it's very shrewd and smart to be able to step back and say, too many elements, too much going on with this composition. I'm
always so afraid of being boring because I can be very boring.
Well, you can be very traditional, never boring, but you can be traditional. Yeah. But I think it's a great sort of evolution when you can also say, it's too much. Too much. Yeah. If I back it up a little bit, it's not going to be a loss, it's going to be a gain. But you know, I would never make those decisions until everything was in place, and then you really stand back and say, this is the whole composition. What is really niggling at me that is not right? And for you, it was that extra scroll. Yeah. So it came out beautiful. It came out beautiful. I absolutely love it.
It's special to me because we sat in the big bed.
We sat together in the bed. It was like a queen-size bed with our wines and our
hooking and a punching.
And our food. Yeah, our takeout food. We were hooking and punching in the big bed while the hurricane was blasting, and I thought the windows were going to blow in on us. Whew, could have done without that. So. Also, this week, before we start our commentary for tonight, I put out the Fiestaware, so that should be there on Ribbon Candy Hooking. I put a couple, I had 4 more of the Farmer's Market swatches. I'm probably not going to do any more of that set because I accidentally cut them so big that I made like a giant loss on this month, which is fine because I love putting out nice stuff, but they were giant swatches. They were not normal swatches. They were almost double size. So I finished doing what I was doing, and I finished dyeing those, and I had, I think, 4. I think one of them sold. So there's probably at least 2. I didn't check the last couple hours, but there's probably at least 2 on there, and they come with a mystery pattern, which I think I can tell you is like a traditional basket pattern with floral that you can handle as a hit or miss pattern with all of those mixed colors that come in Farmer's Market. So there's a few more of those up there, and I am currently, the May kit is available, and she is called Penelope Plaid. And I am not finished because I'm waiting. Remember, I wrote to Diane Collins at the Velvet Hook she's sending some very pretty complementary green that I can do some proddy leaves around Penelope's neck. That hasn't come yet, so I'm not finished. But this is the basic idea of where we are. Thanks, Mom. So she's got, and I haven't finished the border yet either. I've got what I call my party pink in the border. I'll show you close up. That's a really bright pink.
Face too.
Yeah, and then I did a basket weave. You can see there's like a sort of tartan effect going. Something like a plaid with the light lilac, the dove gray, the grape mix, and the grassy green mix. And then I was working the head of Penelope. I am not good at faces at all. And my mom was saying with the dark sort of antique black, it's a mixed black, I should also tip the tops of the ears. So I think I'll pull out that top row on the tops of the ears and make that light too, like the sun is shining down on her little head. And I'm almost done with the body with, this is chenille. This is white chenille. I like that. And each kit comes with a full skein because it takes a full skein. And as you can see, there's like, I'm always backwards on this thing, like an indent here where her little sort of May wreath is going to go around her neck that will be proddy and ribbon. So the kits will come with all of these hand-dyed fabrics, including the full skein of the white chenille. And I saw Chrissy, thank you so much. Yeah, there's been a bunch of them sold already, which is fantastic because I'm not even done with it, and I haven't even yet received the proddy material. And they're still selling, which goes to show there's a great market for a Penelope plaid and some nice sheep. And I know some people felt like you can do your colors differently. I wish that I had started on the top. Now I look at it from a distance with the lighter colors. I use like the lilac and the dove on top, but I think it would have been better if I started on the top with the darker colors, right? So you might want to do that. Maybe don't make the same mistake as me. Start at the top. And
it's not a mistake, but it's nice having these bright greens because they come across in his eyes then.
True.
And then the bright green again. I mean, I think it kind of,
It could go either way, and you could not do it as a plaid. You could just do it as like a checkerboard. I always give you extra so you know that you'll be able to play with the arrangement of the color in the background. But I wanted to make it look a little bit Scottish, and I struggled so much with the name for this one. I was thinking about like Tara Tartan.
I thought it was going to be Mabel. I thought maybe there was a Mabel.
No. Maybe I thought of Mabel at one point. But I wanted, I guess I needed more alliteration in my life. So I went from Tara Tartan to Penelope, I almost said prune, plaid. Penelope prune. What kind of pattern would not be pretty? It would not be pretty. Oh, thank you, Liz. Oh, good. Yeah, I know it's been popular already. Okay, Brimfield is May 11th to 16th. That's like this week.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. All right. Will be smaller so you don't, okay. Oh, it's coming up real fast. All right, I'm going to have to look into that because it's literally less than an hour away.
Before we leave, so you can
It is, before we go to the Cape.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Liz. I'm very glad you told me because it's a need to know. But man, that's rough. That's right around the corner. Thank you so much. I think it's real pretty. So it's there. I think I'm not sure I put Penelope into the description of this video. I put some other things in. But it is on ribboncandyhooking.com. It's on the homepage. So let's start our night, right? We're already 20 minutes in. So, great brainstorm, I thought, for doing this episode about funny sayings. And everybody has their own funny favorite sayings. And the more I got into it, and the more sayings that people were sending in, the more I thought this can be an ongoing thing. It was so fun thinking about sayings and doing sayings. So I'm gonna read you a saying that I've got. Thank you, Martha. And I'll show you a rug that I found that I think fit the saying. And I'll tell you something about the designer of the rug, but also if there's information on the person who came up with the quote. I'll tell you about that too. So, for example, Linda, you sent a bunch of funny quotes, and I used them all, I think. Linda wrote, as for funny sayings, my grandmother used to say, he or she was odder than Dick's hat band. Have you heard that one?
Odder than Dick's hat band.
I've never heard that one. Poor Dick. It doesn't sound like a compliment. She said it used to crack us up at kids, and it stuck with you to this day. I've never heard that one, but maybe it's like a regional one, or sometimes it's even a family one. So I love that saying, Linda. And I found this character here.
The funny hat band.
Yeah, this is one of Donna Harkman's Santas. I forget we get shadows when I do this, right? Let me keep my hand away.
Show me a little bit. There it is.
Yeah, let me see if I can tilt them. But, Donna Harkman did a series of Santas. I'm going to bring them in even closer. Yeah, I don't know why there's such a shadow. I might have to move.
There's the headband. You got to go down.
Yeah, I might have to move that light.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, maybe move that light. Sure. Let me see what we get. You see, she does a little bit of assemblage. Yeah, I'll tell you if it works or not. Nope, still there. You know what? What I'm going to do, maybe pull this down. Yeah, let's try this. We still in it? Well, my boobs are in it, but my face isn't in it. Let's see. I think this is going to work. Let's do that. Yep, I think it's going to... No. It's better. It's better. You know what? I'm going to do like this while we show.
The little camera.
Yeah, it's making the shadow of the camera. You're right. All right, there we go. I'll just scroll him. I'll scroll his little face. But it looks like she did some kind of assemblage thing. Teddy's losing his mind in there. Sorry about that. This is on paisley, like this beautiful antique paisley that you are so lucky if you can find. But paisley with the punching, I don't know if she applicated on. I can't imagine she punched or hooked through. But beautiful sort of steampunk feel to this, almost like a Father Time feel, right? But this was one of the few rugs that I could find that had a hat band. So I went with it. And again, this is Donna Harkman, Harkman. And this image was taken from a past class at Sauter Village, and it was from August 2020. And I'm sure they didn't run anything at Sauter Village in August 2020. So I'm curious to know what's happening if it rolls over to this August, to the next Sauter Village. But Donna did a whole series of Santas that were so pretty that are on the page for Sauter Village for this event. This was one of them. And she did like traditional Santa, like fisherman Santa, engineer Santa, like, train engineer. There's a whole bunch, and they were all equally pretty. So I thought that was a really pretty one to choose. Linda also sent the saying, when nothing is going right, go left. It's a great saying.
Like that.
That's a great saying. Yeah. That's one of those sayings, so simple, like a broken clock is even right 2 times a day.
Twice a day.
It's one of those feel-good sayings. So I wanted to find a map or something to illustrate when nothing is going right, go left. And I ended up choosing a Grenfell map. We've talked about Grenfell a lot. I just put this, you know what, this is ridiculous, isn't it? Let's see. This is a little Grenfell map I chose. Yeah, you know what, let me do this just while we show. And there it is, north, south, east, west. So that looks like it's probably Labrador, Nova Scotia, something like that. Newfoundland, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. So original Grenfell map. It was hard to find a rug hooked map. My mom's not in it right now. We'll bring you back.
Oh God, that's
trying to get away from that stupid light.
I know.
Map of Newfoundland. This is actually an antique, of course, because it's a Grenfell map rug, and it's being sold currently. It's currently available on Etsy by Vintage Quilts by Marie, and it costs $385. And it has the original Grenfell label on it. That's a fair price for that rug. Wow. We do see a lot of the maps. We do see a lot of that map, that particular pattern. But nonetheless, Grenfell's, you're expecting to pay around $400, $500, $600 for. So that's a fine price if you're interested in that design. Maybe it's not as interesting as stuff with animals or boats or something like that. If the subject appeals, I think it's a good buy. Linda also sent this one. This is one of my favorite ones of the night. Lord, keep your arm around my shoulder and your hand over my mouth. Isn't that great? That is so good.
That's a good one.
That is so good. So there isn't a hooked rug with that image on it, but let's see. I chose this one because it's a the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want rug, so same kind of religious feel to it. Now this is for sale. You can probably see what I typed to remind myself. This is an Etsy shop that is called Crow Creek Farm. I can't stand you not being in it, Mom. You got to be in it. You got to be in it. Crow Creek Farm, and now we're crooked. It's like we're on a boat or something. But yeah, I mean, Crow Creek Farm, it was the first time I'd seen their page on Etsy, and their shop is really beautiful. Oh, wow. It is a lot of sort of religious themed rugs and beautiful sayings, beautiful artwork. And again, this one with the sheep and the rainbow, I just thought was just...
That is gorgeous.
Isn't it? It's not the same saying. It would be great to hook that saying, Linda. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a beautiful rug. Now this one, I pulled a whole bunch of quotes tonight from the website. She forgot that she often sends it to me or shares on Facebook, a site that's called inspirationalquotes.com. It's like poetry, sort of more spiritual, religious. It's a mix of stuff, usually more toward poetry. But every day when you join, they send you a quote and they tell you something about the author. And it's just a lot of information, a lot of just nice sort of uplifting ideas first thing in the morning. It comes overnight. So I took a bunch from there, and this is one of them. And this one says, this is by Jack Cornfield with a K, Cornfield. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete. So I thought that was a nice one because it's a more modern take on a one-liner, right? I had a hard time finding something that worked for this, but before I show you the image I chose, I took it off of that inspirationalquotes.com. Now, Jack Cornfield, it tells you a little bit about the writer, practices Buddhism. He included this particular quote in his 1994 book called Buddha's Little Instruction Book. I remember seeing that at like Barnes & Noble and Borders and all that. He says, one of the tenets of Buddhism is extending compassion to other people, but we must also remember to be compassionate with ourselves. It can be very difficult to go easy on yourself when something goes wrong, yet we can't fully practice compassion until we turn it inward first. So I guess it's that principle of when the plane is crashing, you're supposed to put your mask on first. Yeah. That kind of a principle. I just thought it's maybe a sentiment that we don't hear enough in our lives, but I thought it was really, really pretty. If your compassion does not include yourself, it is incomplete, by Jack Cornfield. And I found this image that is put out by Pattern Primitive Spirit. This is another Etsy store, Pattern Primitive Spirit. Another beautiful store And they seemed to sell, I think, if I'm remembering right from this afternoon, they seemed to sell mostly completed rugs. I feel like now I'm second guessing myself. Give them a check. Pattern, I'll put it here, Pattern Primitive Spirit on Etsy. This one says, just hooking, no cooking. And that's it's one of our classic rug hooking sayings, but it goes along with that idea of you got to take care of yourself and do your stuff too, right? Otherwise the balance is like way off. Oh, buenas tardes. You are not late. Cormenza, you are not late. You are perfect. Welcome to cocktail night. We'll do one quick little cheers.
I just did, but I'll do another one.
Do a double. So I like that one. Now this next one is by Mary Oliver, and again Mary Oliver is my favorite poet. It came from the inspiration site again, and she says, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?"
I know.
It's so good. It's so good. No, it's going to make
me
me cry too.
She died last year.
Oh, that's right. I forgot she died
last year.
Oh God,
so good.
She writes these long, dense poems. She's a naturalist poet, right? So she writes mostly about what she sees in nature, but she's very spiritual. My favorite poem of hers, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Skylarks or Meadowlarks or something like that. About the two old people that are not wishing for anything else because they've had such a good life already. But she crosses over naturalism with sort of tropes and sayings that we already know. This one is a good example. So this is Mary Oliver, and I'll just tell you about her before I show you what I did. You've probably seen this quote around. The text says, "It's become a kind of rallying cry, for on its own it leaves the reader zealous. Seize the day, it seems to say. Get up and go." But to take it from its place at the end of Mary Oliver's poem called A Summer's Day is to alter its meaning. In context, it is decidedly against ambition. The poem describes a day alone in nature. The speaker, who's the narrator, described as idle and blessed, observes a grasshopper, kneels, strolls, and simply pays attention. "Tell me," she asks, "what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon?" Perhaps the key to understanding the poem is in reading the phrase, "What is it you plan to do?" as ironic. In other words, what else are you going to do? You might as well do the little stuff. Stop and smell the roses, all of these one-liners, instead of doing some huge, massive, overarching thing. She really rejoices, Mary Oliver, in the little things, in the noticing all the little things in a day. And I think saying that this quote is a little bit sarcastic and ironic, is absolutely right. I think she does mean it that way. Like, what else have you got to do? What's better than that? We're all going to die anyway. What's the difference? As my bus driver Norm used to say, in 100 years it ain't going to make any difference anyway. He must have said that 20 times a day. It was not a sort of ambitious sentiment. But for this one, I was super self-indulgent, and I put one of my designs out that I have not hooked yet. This one is called Book of Days. What are you going to do with your one wild and precious life? It's a woman. It's like an illumination from like a Book of Days kind of a, the old medieval manuscripts. But it's got the sun and the moon on top, and this woman riding a bird over the horizon, and it's got a lot of scroll that I see, and it's sort of gold and black and navy. But this is in the description for tonight. This is ribboncandyhooking.com. This is one of my own designs, and if you get it before me and you hook it before me, please let me know, because I really love Book of Days. I'd love to see it. I don't have time at this moment, but I would love to see that done. With your one wild and precious life. This is a good one too. We could never learn to, this is a Helen Keller quote, "We can never learn to be brave and patient if there were only joy in the world." So this is one of these great expressions that has to do with balancing dark and light, right? The good and the bad. You have to take it all, because without that contrast, whether we're talking about colors and rug hooking or whether we're talking about a metaphor for life, without that contrast, you don't see one or the other, do you? You see neither. So this great one, oh good, thank you. This great one is by Helen Keller, who we know was an author, lecturer. She was famously blind. She wrote this in a letter to a friend in 1890. But the person to whom she's really directing this insight is her younger self. In the letter, she reflects on becoming deaf and blind at 19 months old. She recalls feelings of deprivation and isolation, believing that everybody else was happy, right? This is something that's very easy, I think, to relate to in our modern age, in the Facebook age, watching other people's photos come and go and feeling more and more isolated, like you're the only one that is not having a banner day every single day. She's feeling like this in 1890, so she writes these words then. We could never learn to be brave and patient if there were only joy in the world. So, I mean, she is somebody who has like famously suffered adversity and overcome. With perspective, however, she grew to appreciate the benefits that came with surviving hardships. In this quote, she highlights bravery and patience, two undeniably remarkable virtues, but leaves out the underlying reason for her bravery and patience in the first place. Hope, her ability to find light where there is none, and to see in the dark, right? So this is just such a great insight that the writer wrote in this inspirational quotes, because of course, as we know, people who are blind have like an overdeveloped sense of every other sense, right? So she could, it was written many times, see in the dark. It's just not literally, but of course she could feel in the dark and move around much quicker than someone who was seeing. So just a great quote for her. And I pulled this image off of Wanda Works. And you know Wanda Works, she does the great dyeing, she's got a great site, she's got a great blog, there's lots of things to subscribe to. Wanda Works is her page, and she published this image. I was just looking for a beautiful image with light and dark to celebrate, brave and patient if there were only joy, to celebrate balance. So I chose this image from Wanda Works, and she had written a nice blog. It's a long one. I'm not going to watch the wires. I'm not going to read in its entirety, but this blog entry was called "A Letter About Skies and Water." We're live, Joss. We're live. It doesn't matter. He's not coming. He's like he's the familiar on his witch's lap.
Taken for a walk.
Oh, well, he just went for a walk, but he can go. You gonna go for another walk?
I was gonna.
Yeah, go for a walk.
Sure.
A Letter About Skies and Water. Invented landscape inspired by a photo. So in this blog, Wanda is talking about how she takes a photo and she works directly off the photo to do the hooking. It's always interesting to know what other people's processes are, what their sort of technique is for getting a piece this good. And she's saying, when you hook a piece, do you have to hook the water first or the sky? Do you hook the sky first because the water reflects the sky? These are questions everybody runs through their mind when they're trying to hook a piece that's this realistic. She says, I love to hook landscapes, and after much frustration in my early hooking, I now like to rely on visual aids. My imagination is either too broad or too fine to make up the details or the vagaries that Mother Nature supplies us on a daily basis. So in other words, she's saying, was that in memory? Was that warm yellow a cool one, or was it actually warm? She's saying how she second guesses herself in this blog, and she just cannot remember the colors. So she is at a point in her process where she just takes a photo and works off the photo. And she says, so I use a visual aid, and it doesn't matter one whit where I start or where I finish. I'm just plugging in the right colors into the right shapes that exist. And while doing that, a sense of accuracy develops and leaves the viewer feeling like, that looks right. So that is a great tip. This is a great blog entry. I paraphrased it by cutting it down 90%. There's a lot more to read. Just go to the Wanda Works page, read her blog, subscribe to it. There's a second thing that you can subscribe to that she does. Everything she does is super insightful, smart, the voice of experience, right, and class. Oh, hey, Kira. You're back from Cape Cod, you little devil, but at least you scouted a place out for us.
Whoa.
So this next one more cheers, my dears. Keep an eye on the time, too. Oh, it's only 7:30. So this next one I think is a nice one, too. This quote is again from inspirationalquotes.com. Letting your mind play. Let me get you in here too much. Letting your mind play is the best way to solve problems. This one really struck me because I was talking, one of my buddies here, one of the customers who's on a lot, Naomi, if you're on, she called not that long ago. We were chatting for a while, and she said that her doctor had said to her, you can do all the crosswords and Sudoku
yeah.
as you want. But what really helps you stay sharp is to learn something new. And for that reason, she was learning rug hooking. She keeps learning new things because it really keeps you, you can keep going through the motions of doing puzzles or making jigsaws. But what really keeps your mind sharp, apparently, is to keep learning new things, because that's different than just doing the same things over and over. So letting your mind play is the best way to solve problems. I found this image that is another Donna Harkman image. She is so good. This is from Rug Hooking Magazine, August 2019, June, July issue, right? I'm going to show you Steampunk Michael. There we go.
Oh, nice.
And I'll write, look at the way she broke the border with this. Isn't that something else? I mean, really. Steampunk Michael by Donna Harkman. It's almost got that squid. I think that is a squid, like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea out the porthole window, right? Oh, hey, Anita. Cheers, my dears. Cheers, my dears. Hey, Holly. So I just love this image of Steampunk Michael. Number 3 cut, so super, super fine on bleached linen. Mm-hmm. And Donna wrote, I swore I would never hook rug portraits of my sons. It was too personal and too hard and too whatever other excuses to come up with. But an exceptional photo taken of my oldest son made it impossible for me to keep that vow. And I was able to create a rug for him that made me proud and happy. I called it Nick at Night and wrote about it in Rug Hooking Magazine in 2016. There was an uneasy calm after I finished Nick's rug, knowing I was going to have to create a rug for each of my other 2 boys. Surprisingly, the opportunity to create a fun rug of my second son came up very quickly on the heels of Nick's piece. It turned out to be a great experience for me, and it's a rug that my son enjoys as well. It all began during the annual July 4th family reunion in 2016. My mom joins our immediate family, my husband, 2 sons who live in the same city, and we all drive to my aunt and uncle's place in West Virginia. We hang out, eat constantly, play cornhole, and then enjoy fireworks set off by my uncle and his friends. It's something we all look forward to every summer. So this is a photo or an image or a thought that came from that reunion. And I'm guessing, I'll have to check and see if she's done a 3rd one now. But 3 sons, 3 rugs, right? I just thought that was an excellent example of letting your mind play is the best way to solve problems. Now that quote is by Bill Watterson. He's a cartoonist. He's the creator of, do you know the comic strip Calvin and Hobbes, right? That was quite famous. He's the creator of that popular comic strip about a boy and his tiger who just play all the time. So he's the person that came up with that quote. Bill wrote, the person who wrote that, I've been amazed at how one idea leads to others. And if I allow my mind to play and wander, he said in a 1990 commencement speech at Kenyon College, indulge my curiosity and childlike sense of wonder and can open up creative paths that lead to surprising solutions. Next time you found that you've hit a wall, try approaching the problem as a 6-year-old might, with imagination, no pressure, and lots of flexibility. I think that's really good advice. Really good advice. Now here's another great saying from Robert Frost, a great one-liner. The best, I love Robert Frost. I love Mary Oliver, but I have to say maybe Robert Frost is my favorite. Love him so much. Love them both. Another naturalist poet. The quote is, the best way out is always through. Whew, that's a hard one, isn't it? I mean, depending on what you're approaching, that can be a hard one. But I think it must be true, right? If you've gone through difficult things, you know it's true. You can't go around, you can't go between, you can't go above, under, you have to go through. So Robert Frost, this was in his collection of 17 poems, his book called North of Boston, highly recommend. He's the poet laureate for Vermont, he's been the poet laureate for the whole United States. This poem was originally published in 1914. He talks about the collection of poetry here. So, yeah, I won't go too much into his life. It's so interesting. I used to, when I was a tour guide, we went through, was it Brattleboro? It was Brattleboro. Yeah. No, it was Bennington. It was Bennington, Vermont. Yeah, because we visited the monument where, the Ethan Allen and the Green Mountain Boys won that battle. Bennington, Vermont is where Robert Frost was buried, and I always used to take people into the graveyard. It's a beautiful graveyard of a, what congregation? Congregationalist. He was a Congregationalist. And in those days, Congregationalists, way back in the day, I mean, he's 20th century, but he said his people have always been Congregationalists. Originally, Congregationalists literally meant, with all the different religions coming into this country at one time, like hundreds of years ago, Congregationalist meant that whatever the most people were in that town, that's what the congregation was. So you set up the congregation based on the taste of most people. It wasn't a completely separate religion with separate thoughts and ideas. It was the flavor that most people liked who lived in that immediate neighborhood. And it's changed over the years, but that was the original sort of Congregationalist church. It's a beautiful church. And every time I went to his grave, which was every week, there was always like new rocks and coins and stuff on it. Like lots of people had come and left pennies and rocks on top of his stone. It was so nice. It was one of those flat stones, so I don't like the flat stones as much as like the headstone. It's just a flat stone with his wife and his family. But in any case, the best way out is always through. And again, this is my second one. The only other one I'm going to do of my own tonight. But I did this years ago when I was studying costume. I did this drawing, and I touched it up for a rug hook design, and it's called, I should have looked this up. I think this is a Byron quote, "Splendor Falls on Castle Walls." And the reason I chose it was because the best way out is through. This is the only design I've ever drawn that has a labyrinth in the background. So when I drew this, I was like, living in England, and I was going to college in England, and I would often take days off to go to Hampton Court Palace and go through the maze and stuff. And those were great days. But I went to a lot of mazes and grottos and all those great English fun things to do. But Splendor Falls on Castle Walls with a little peacock perched on the edge of her dress, right? She's got one of these wired out Elizabethan style dresses. Just thought it was a great design. So that's also in the thread for tonight. It's in the description. This is an ambitious one to hook for sure. The Lady on the Bird, the Book of Days, is a bit easier. This is going to be a tough one because, of course, all those bushes involve shadows and all that. But lots of fun if you're brave. So that was Robert Frost. Let's see. Oh, this is a classic. Hungarian proverb, right? Proverb. If you dig a hole for someone else, you will fall in it. Right?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. And I said it out loud to myself, and Jocelyn was like 3 rooms away, and she started laughing from the other room, and she said, yeah, if you do something bad to someone, they'll retaliate, she said. They'll retaliate back. But she gets it. She got that you do something, you set something bad up, and it's going to backfire on yourself. It was hard to think of something to put with this proverb, right? So I chose a trick-or-treat thing because I was thinking, you dig a hole for someone, you try to trick someone, you end up getting tricked yourself. So I chose a Halloween rug. I chose this one. I just couldn't think of anything that would work better. Trick-or-treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. Followed by, if you don't, I don't care, you can sniff my underwear. I wonder if you said that too, or if that was just a local stupid thing. One. But this is starrugcompany.com. I absolutely love this rug. It's called Trick or Treat. And again, this is an Etsy store. No, you know what? I don't think it is. I think it's just starrugcompany.com, not an Etsy store. The description is, what is not to love about this Halloween classic? The rug displayed was hooked by Linda Long, L-O-N-G. The pattern reads, trick or treat, smell my feet. The pattern does not come with the word or as shown on Linda's rug. Oh, okay, so smell my feet, give me something good to eat. So they've added that one little bit. But it's a beautiful pattern. It is currently available. It's 26 by 52, so quite big. It is $105, and I think that's a great price for such a beautiful rug. Trick or Treat by Star Rug Company. So, and under the, if you dig a hole for someone else, you'll fall into it. Inspirational Quotes wrote, how true this is. When we talk about other people or do things that perhaps are not so upfront, the person who gets hurt in the end is us. We are the ones who fall into the hole, like with a W she put for meaning. It may not happen right away, but it will happen. I totally believe that. Absolutely believe that. I was wondering, what is what you have that as a pattern. Yep, so Kira, that one's in. Kira, you are up for that. You are doing the craziest, hardest patterns lately. Both of the ones that I showed you that are mine tonight are in the description of this video. Just posted them today, just cleaned them up and posted them. And they are both designs that I did like,
oh my God, decades.
Like almost 30 years ago.
30 years ago.
I mean, yeah, because I'm like 49 now, and when I was in college, I was in my early 20s. So
yeah.
Both of those are designs I drew a long time ago. Oh my God. This one's cute. Another proverb, unknown origin. Experience is a comb which nature gives us when we are bald. Isn't that a great? Isn't that a great one? I mean, yeah. You tend to realize that you have gained experience. usually when you don't need it, right? Like in retrospect, you tend to go, well, thinking back on that, that was a good learning experience for me. You know, in the moment, you don't always quite get it.
Recognize it.
You get it when you're bald, you know, and you get it in the form of a comb. But in the end, you do get it. You know, if you're thoughtful and savvy enough. Sometimes it takes a lifetime to realize that you've gathered a lot of good experience and information. Whether you use it or not is beside the point. But experience is a comb which nature gives us when we are bald. So I couldn't find a picture of a bald man. I didn't look that hard because I thought that could be a bit insensitive. So instead I found a pattern with two bald eagles. Yeah, there we go. I did a little crossover there. So these two bald eagles, this is an antique pattern. It's great, right, Kira? This is an antique pattern, and it is currently available. It is online. This is icollect.com. incollect.com. incollect.com. It's called, it didn't really give it a name, did it? Yes, American Hooked Rug of Two Birds. So if you're interested in the rug, it's $1,500, 1500. It's a lot. You know, I would really question the age of this rug. It says 1920 to 1949, and then the description says circa 1920s. It has no provenance. 39 by 19. It's cotton. American folk art hooked rug depicting two birds sitting on stumps. Americana folk art traditional. Those are the tags they use. I don't know. It's a beautiful image, and if you love the image and you want it on the wall, it's $1,500 on InCollect, and it's available now. I really would question the age of it. For myself, I wouldn't be satisfied entirely that that's 1920s or 1940s, but who knows? I'm only seeing the same picture of it that you are, but yeah, I mean, those are not even colors that were popular or used at all at that time. This looks much more modern to me. For myself, if I were buying this, I would think it was 1980s, 1990s. But again, I'm not appraising it because I don't have the rug in front of me. But it is a lovely rug, and if you love the image, it's for sale. Here comes another great one. This is another proverb. So unknown origin, even the country of origin. This is a classic. A ship in the harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So I gave you a picture of a ship, as you would expect. I'm sorry about this light blasting us. Try to get it over here a little bit. This is so fine and pretty, it almost looks like Impressionist, doesn't it? It looks like an Impressionist painting. A beautiful boat in a harbor. Looks like a little quaint sort of European town, maybe Canadian town. It's almost like a city, right? It's a little bit more than a town. But I found this beautiful image on one of my favorite blog spots, Wild West Hookers, Wild West Rug Hookers, Wild West Rug Hookers, one of my favorite blog spots, also Facebook pages. They have such consistently beautiful work. I went through the link to this page over and over and over. There's lots of images, and I could not find this one. So I will say, I'm sorry, I could not find for tonight in the time that I had the person who made this or designed it, but it is from the website wildwestrughookers.blogspot.com. Many, many, many pages and entries. So for whatever reason, the link was not actually to the page that included this picture, but it is on that page, on that blog spot. And if you have the time to go through it, I would love to know which one it was. But this idea of the ship in the harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. Taking risks, venturing out of your comfort zone is a factor to live the life that you are currently only dreaming of. If you don't move beyond where you are today, then you will never be anything more. Pooh, that's harsh, isn't it? It's true, but it's harsh. But it's true. So it's good to be reminded that's not what ships are built for. That's like that great, maybe I'll use it next time, that great Amelia Earhart quote, something like, right out of her mouth, she said something like, not everyone was meant to be a passenger. Same thing. Yeah, it's and then she dies in a plane crash. I mean, it's that sentiment that it's, you know, you have to really stick yourself out to grow and to be the person that you're supposed to be. I think that's the perfect quote to describe that sentiment. Now, this one is completely different. This is a Mexican proverb. In a closed mouth, flies do not enter. So I said this one to Joss too, and she didn't quite get it. In other words, this is one of these quotes that has to do with, like, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep a lip zipper on it, right? If you don't have anything nice to keep your mouth shut, then flies can't fly in anyway. But it's one of these kind of sarcastic insult type proverbs. But this is a Mexican proverb. And I could not find rugs with flies, but there's lots of rugs with bees, as you can imagine, being in trouble and endangered and all that stuff. So I chose this beautiful rug of a bee from www.Christine with a C, Higdon, Higdon.com. I want to show you this image. It's super sweet. This is Christine Higdon's bee in its hive. It's so great to see images like this. It's so simple, but look at that beautiful hive. Look at that beautiful geometric behind. She's really mixed up the colors. It's not in like a matchy pattern. She's just gone real fluid with the colors. She's given the bee some space, so you get the lighter color in some places, but she's done a real wonder with color placement in this very geometric design. And the fact that the background is so geometric really pops the organic shape of this fat little bumblebee. So I think that is just one of the Raldis says, one of my favorite sayings is, for every pot, there is a lid. That is funny because Jay says something similar. I'm not going to say a swear on live, whatever, but it's basically, for every butt, there is a seat, which is kind of the same thing, right, Walda? Yeah. That's the same idea. We don't have a family one like that, do we?
No, we don't.
For every something, there is a something. I mean, we have a lot in our family. I was having trouble thinking about them. But anyway, I looked up Christine Higdon because I loved her bee. And she's an author as well. And she wrote a book called The Very Marrow of Our Bones. And it is on like all kinds of bestseller lists. It looks amazing. I'm going to order it from Amazon. Great. It looks amazing. The Very Marrow of Our Bones. So then I pulled up her bio and I was reading about her, and she wrote, I am a writer, an editor, a graphic designer, and a rug hooker. I'm a sister, a mother, and an intersectional feminist. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds great. She's the daughter of a Newfoundlander and a British Columbian, and she grew up surveying the world from the tops of trees near the Fraser River Delta. She says, I learned design from my mother's clothesline and my father's garden. Winnie the Pooh and Stuart Little made me want to write. Roosters taught me about color. Dandelions and blackberries about the beauty of tangled things. The Pacific Ocean taught me reverence. A nation of dedicated people taught me about social justice. When I'm not writing, designing, or editing my home in Mimico, this is going to be one of these words I don't know, help me out. I hook rugs, worry about bees, and long for either ocean. What a great bio. She's obviously a great writer, right?
Wow.
So that bee, that rug was so good and her bio was so good. In a closed mouth, flies do not enter. Doesn't quite fit, but again, I couldn't find any flies, and I thought it was worth putting her story in there because she's so good.
She is.
Oh, Holly says, my granddaughter is my little bee and I'm honey. I was looking for a bee pattern. I love the colors and the wings too. Check that out. Check out her website. I don't know if she sells her patterns or just the finished rugs, but again, Christine Higdon, DON.com. Her whole site is amazing because she's such a good writer and she's got all kinds of cool things to read.
I gotta look her up, yeah.
Oh yeah, we gotta get that book. So here's another one. I love this one too. This is the quote. It's a Norwegian proverb. There is hope as long as your fishing line is in the water. Oh, isn't that great?
Yep.
Isn't that great? Yeah. It reminds me of my favorite 1920s Depression era slogan that is never try, never win. I love that, and I love this too. Yeah. There is hope as long as your fishing line is in the water. So, inspirational quote said, when we give up too easily, we never succeed. If we don't have hope, we don't take action. Hope gives us that light at the end of the tunnel. You have to believe that you'll succeed, and if you don't have that belief, then you don't have hope. Sounds so simple, but you have to remind yourself, right? These are the kinds of things you have to keep reminding yourself. And, because this is a quote about having your fishing line in the water, I have to say yesterday, Jocelyn, my daughter, who is a big fisher lady, she's been waiting all year to be fishing season again. She went out fishing with Jay. They went out to a local little river, little creek, first time this year, and she caught like 8 giant trout. She now refers to herself as the trout master. I mean, she was so wired after this. She was so wired. This is the first time, this is her 3rd or 4th year fishing, and she's never caught anything bigger than a sunny or a bluegill that you could put in like a garden for fertilizer. She's never caught anything that you would take out of the water and eat. So to catch that many in one day was like unbelievable.
She did better than some of the men that were there, the old men.
That's right. And yeah, and somebody else said, you know, the way that she navigated her line around this giant log that was blocking, she just did it so instinctively. You know, she just knew, she just understood like the mechanics of it, what you needed to do, and she got the trout right up on the shore, so she was all set. Sorry if you're not into fishing, but it was a great day. It was a great day for her, and you know, I can't find my diary, which breaks my heart because I've been writing in it since I was like 12. I've never missed a day, and I haven't been able to find it for 2 weeks. I wanted to put that in the diary that this is the day.
Start another diary.
Yeah, that she caught fish that she could keep out of the water. It was so exciting. So she spent all of last night. She had her tap dance lesson, and then when she got back, she spent the whole evening drawing pictures of trout. And I haven't put this up on Ribbon Candy. I just wanted to show it to you because I'll probably hook it myself. She did this last night super late when she should have already been asleep, but she was still wired. She wrote, she made this pattern for me to hook. And it is the line with her fish in it. So it says, "It's fishing season!" exclamation point, and she put a little fish on top of the word season. And she's got her line on top of the water with like all of her trout, and you can see the middle one is a rainbow trout. She caught 1 or 2 rainbows. Thanks, Linda and Carol. She was so happy. So she drew this and she said, "Mom, you gotta hook it." She described to me she wants it outlined. She's in her element. Yeah. She wants to combine like, you know, hooking with fishing. So we might as well do that. Why not, right? Hook and fish. You know, I wonder if I could put one of the, you know how those lures have those beautiful little feathers and stuff?
Yes.
I wonder if I could do. That could be
part of the design, maybe the border.
Yeah, you know, I'm not or a real one. I'm not a fan of putting like assemblage stuff on stuff, but there's such pretty little feathery things. The little ties and stuff. Yeah. Yep. I could maybe put one of those in there. That would be a nice touch, a dangerous touch. Now here's another great one. This is a Spanish proverb. Tomorrow is the busiest day of the week. So this is this is for all you procrastinators out there, because when you keep telling yourself I'll do it tomorrow, then it all piles up, and tomorrow turns out to be the busiest day of the week. And it's true. We all do it. It's not just you. So I chose this image by Laura Kenny. She's a Canadian artist we've talked about many times. This was in Rug Hooking Magazine, this excerpt, also on Laura Kenny's page. Anything you pull up on Laura Kenny, Kenney. This was the Canadian Connection part of Rug Hooking Magazine, their magazine page, like the internet page, but also in the magazine, by Hetty Van Gerp. And this is a Laura Kenny image that's called "I'd Rather Be Reading Than Ironing." And as you probably remember from us covering Laura Kenny, she's very, very well known for doing images of women sort of goofing off during the course of like the daily work. So this woman reading on an ironing board, hilarious, right? She does this a lot. Women doing cartwheels and splits and jumping in the air while they're doing stuff with the laundry line. She always mixes kind of a woman's work with fun. And so this quote really reminded me of her work. It was very easy to go straight to her catalog to find the right image for that. This is an English proverb. This is what I'm super guilty of. Do not sell the skin until you have caught the bear. This is one of my big problems in life. I keep putting out kits and stuff and I haven't dyed completely for them. And then I'm dyeing at 2 in the morning and then again at 5 in the morning for the same kit because I'm not ready. Do not sell the skin before you've caught the bear. It's good to put the cart before the horse, right? Or the horse before the cart even.
Yeah. So
this was a good image. This is images of a black bear raiding a bird feeder, a detail of night visitors. So this would be a larger rug, hooked by Linda Stafford. This is on a Pinterest page by Sylvia Gautier. So this is, again, this is a close-up image of the black bear. He's got a little lantern under the light of the moon. Love the halos around the moon. But you can see this looks like a round rug, and it's only a part of the rug. But this is the part with the bear, referring to the bear skin. I thought that was adorable. The message to this proverb is don't spend money that you haven't got. With credit cards and easy access to credit, many of us spend more money than we make. A good plan is to only spend it when you make it. Well, that is very quaint and old-fashioned. Me too, Kira. Me too. It's so, you know, you hear of people that will only buy stuff in cash still.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, it's a very antiquated notion in my mind. Everything is just, it's too easy to sell the bear before you catch the skin. So that is that. Now this is a cute one. There are many types of ships. There are wooden ships and plastic ships and metal ships, but the best and most important types of ships are friendships. That's an Irish proverb. And I used an image from, one of my favorite people ever, Sharon Smith. And this, of course, the entire Sharon Smith catalog is available through Cushing. And this is called Swimmers. Or The Swimmers. I'm not sure I'm in focus. I'm trying to stand away from the thing there. There we go. Swimmers. Sharon Smith, available at Cushing. I really like this. I like the woman in the water. Her legs have kind of disappeared under the water. The picture of the five, right? The five sisters. You get a lot of pictures of hers with the five women in them. This is one of them. But Sharon Smith, all of her images are available at Cushing, and you know how great she is. We have sung her praises, and we always will. This is a proverb, unknown origin. If you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. This is true too, right? I mean, yeah, you can do any kind of shortcut you want, but you're going to pay for it in the end, aren't you? You're going to get the monkeys. So when I read this proverb, I was trying to think about circus rugs, monkeys and peanuts and stuff, and I ended up with elephants. I could have got monkeys if I tried hard enough, but I ended up with a circus theme, and I went for elephants. And I found this amazing pattern by Pat Maricalio. It's called Tumbling Pachyderms, designed and hooked by Pat Maricalio. From a blog called Laura's Loop, Loop, Laura's Loop at WordPress.com. And if you type in tumbling pachyderms, you will get this rug that I think is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Bring you back over here. There we go. It has a very sort of Eastern flavor to it, but there we go. I like the balance of the light and the dark, right? This is a theme that always comes up. The border is almost like a Book of Days border, that heavy illustration quality to it. Looks like watercolor, but this beautiful balance of the two pachyderms. Are pachyderms the same as elephants?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the two elephants, but I really liked it. Nothing to do with monkeys, but peanuts reminded me of elephants too. I just thought that was so nice. Laura's Loop, another great blog to check out. This one is another proverb, unknown origin. A peacock who sits on its tail is just another turkey. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? So in other words, shine your light. Let your light shine. I always say that to Jocelyn. Let your light shine.
Little light of mine, right?
That's right. I say that whenever she goes into her tap dance, I go, let your little light shine. She thinks I'm crazy and embarrassing. So I chose this one. It's called Pennsylvania Peacock. Let me show it to you first, and then I'll read it. Just looks like it says Janice Johnson. I'm going to have to double check that. But Pennsylvania Peacock, I thought this was a gorgeous image. Very sort of Jacobean background, really well-placed flowers. I love the way the tail goes out to meet the border. It's so, you love pachyderms, Martha. Pachyderms and buttons, right? I love the way the tail goes out to meet the border. It's unexpected. You expect to see a little breathing room around the border. In this composition, you don't. And I have to say, I like it. He's stuck right to the edge of that frame. And I really like it. I always like something unexpected. Janice Johnson, Pennsylvania Peacock. So peacock who sits on his tail is just another turkey. Don't sit on your tail. Let your light shine. Now this is a cute one, an English proverb. Now this is a pun. It's a funny play on words. A bicycle can't stand on its own because it's too tired. Get it? Too tired. So I thought that was cute just because the joke was cute. This is a rug that I found on an Etsy page called Loops by C, the letter C. Loops by C. And hand-hooked rugs designed and hooked by me. She's in Canada, Simcoe, Canada. Now, her rugs, this is the person I was thinking of earlier. Her Etsy page, it doesn't have a ton of stuff, but it has a handful of beautiful rugs, and they are not patterns, they are for sale. This rug is for sale, $335. I think that is a bargain for this rug. A bicycle can't stand on its own because it's too tired. So I looked for a bike rug, and this is what I found. This girl riding through a pumpkin patch. And again, this is currently available on Etsy for $335. I think that's a great bargain. This is a beautiful rug, seasonal or not, just beautiful. Absolutely love that. Loops by C. Here comes a Dutch proverb. When two dogs fight over a bone, a third one carries it away. That is so true. Yeah. That is so true. And I found this great image. This is an antique image of dogs. Now, this was uploaded by Nancy Timberlake. This is a Pinterest image, so there's no further information. Uploaded by Nancy Timberlake. This is one of these antique rugs that I would not copy. If I thought I could, I would have, and I would have put it on ribbon candy hooking so you could download it tonight. But I don't think you can because I don't believe that this is an original pattern. I really believe this to be a commercial pattern. So be careful if you like this pattern. It is an antique rug, and it was sold as an antique rug, but it's not currently available. It's just on Pinterest. But be careful with this image because I am 99% sure that this is a commercial image, but it is a great image. Very Art Deco. Look at the background, the way the sky is handled, the way it falls into the trees, and the Art Deco poppies breaking the border. Really, really good composition. I love the two sort of sporting dogs. So I was just looking for a rug with two dogs. So there isn't a third dog to carry the bone away, but it's a rug with two dogs. So I thought that was cute. But yeah, check that out on Nancy Timberlake's Pinterest page. If you know anything else about that image, please let me know. It's a beautiful image. I just didn't dare touch it because it seemed very familiar, and that's as far as I could get with it. Now here's a Malaysian proverb. Don't think there are no crocodiles because the water is calm. This is a cautionary one, isn't it? I thought it was one of these really smart one-liners. Now, Malaysian proverb. This piece that I found again was on Pinterest. Pinterest is full of a lot of dead ends, as you know. Super frustrating. Primitive rug hooking patterns by Nancy Smith, offering artistic hand-drawn patterns directly on linen. The website didn't come up for me for Nancy Smith, the link, but this image is designed and hooked by Nancy Smith. So that's what I could find out on Pinterest. See you later, and it's alligators and pennies. In other words, like penny rug.
Oh.
Dave says, dance like there's nobody watching, love like you've never been hurt, sing like nobody's listening, live like it's heaven on earth. Mark
That's
Twain.
beautiful.
That
That's
is the
Mark
best.
Twain.
That's the best, Dave.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Best advice.
Oh, that is the best. Yeah. Mark Twain said all the best stuff, didn't he? He really did.
Oh.
You know, there was another one when I was researching this. I forget what it was, but I knew that it was Mark. I knew that it was Mark Twain. I absolutely knew it from doing tour guiding and covering Mark Twain for years. And it was mislabeled as like an English proverb or something. And I thought, that's a bummer. You've got to give him credit, Mark Twain, when he gets it. Oh, see, everybody loves that, Dave. That is the ultimate great quote. So that alligator and pennies was by Nancy Smith. Now this one is really cool. Jody, you sent me a bunch of great ones too, and I loved them. She sent some really funny ones. Jody sent one that is a family one that she remembers that goes like this. It's colder than a cast iron commode on the shady side of an iceberg.
Oh, is that cold?
That is so cold you're going to stick.
So cold.
That is dangerously cold. That is so funny. She says, I have no idea where it came from, but I think it's hilarious, and I just remember that. So I love that, Jody. That is so fun. If we knew that one in our family, we would have said that one too. That would have been right up our alley. A little bit of commode humor goes a long way in this family. So I was struggling with the commode, so I took the iceberg and I took another Grenfell rug. This is a traditional Grenfell mat. I think this is from the Museum of Nova Scotia, one of those big sites. But this is an authentic Grenfell mat of an iceberg, of course. So this is not for sale. This is like a historic photo of a mat that there are more of, I'm sure you might find. But beautiful, beautiful, very, very faded, as one would expect, a silk stocking mat from the Grenfell mission. So nice piece of history there. Jody also sent, whenever we got into the car, my parents would always tell us to saddle up. In other words, put your seatbelts on. And she thought that that was quite apropos, considering that she lived on a cattle ranch for most of her life. So saddling up was exactly what you would expect to do. So I love the saddle up too. And I found this image from Etsy of a cowgirl. So let me show that to you. It's from the Etsy store. You probably know this store. I've shopped this many times. The store is called The Ring Gold Kid. The Ring Gold Kid. She sells dyed wool, over-dyed wool, pattern. She sells lots of stuff. And this is her pattern, this cowgirl here, for saddle up. Thought that was real pretty. So if that speaks to you, if you're from a cattle ranch too, or if that just speaks to you, your travels, that is available at the Ring Gold Kid store on Etsy. Jody sent this one too. One more. This is one from my very hardworking, fun-loving grandfather, but widely known. All work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy. And she says, which he lived to his dying day. Well, I love that. I love that. I went very traditional with a very traditional one, and I found a rug of Jack and Jill. And this is them, I guess. guessing going up the hill with a bucket, they don't look like they're in sad enough shape to have come down yet, like, falling and cracking the bucket as they went.
Yeah.
But Jack and Jill, really, really beautiful rug. Sadly enough, this is a pretty rare rug. This was on eBay, this image. Let me see if I can come a little closer. This was on eBay that sold for $30.
Oh my God.
I know, that's a punch in the gut piece of info, but yeah, absolutely crazy. $30. So just keep looking at eBay, right? Just keep looking. Put your searches in. They'll send you something in the morning, just like they send me. And when I see something nice, I grab it because it's not there for long. But $30 is absolutely crazy for the Jack and Jill rug. Jody, thank you for those funny, awesome ones. And the ones that I didn't use tonight, it was just because I'd gotten too far in the commentary, and I'll use them next time for sure. Please keep them coming. And if you have some, and you didn't get my call out the other day, and you have some great quotes from your family, please send them to me, and I'll use them next time we do like an episode like this. I did one more at the end that I really loved. I really wanted to end this episode with a springtime type image, and I wanted to go with the Green Man. I love the image of the
Green Man.
Yeah. The very English pagan image of, digging through all of the autumn leaves and under all of the debris where the snow has gone, the leaves are all rusted out and crumbled, is the image of a face, like a creepy enough, but a human face, meaning like underneath, like the season's wreckage and decay, all the death, is life again. There is still life underneath it all. And the Green Man is the symbol of spring, of the cycle of the year. Turning again. So I wanted to, because we're really hitting spring now, we're hitting our stride, I think. I really wanted to use a springtime image. So I used a quote from Lucy Maud Montgomery, who of course wrote Anne of Green Gables. The quote is simply, "Nothing ever seems impossible in spring, That's it. It sounded like an Aunt Joan quote to me. Nothing ever seems impossible in spring, I mean, it's just such a great, simple quote. I don't know which of her books that appeared in, but I thought it was just a fantastic quote. Nothing is impossible. It's spring. Go out and do it. All of these inspirational quotes today. Hopefully, one of them got you going, right? And I chose this image from Honey Bee Hive. It's also our thumbnail for the show tonight. This is called. What is it? Jack in the Green. Jack in the Green from Honey Bee Hive. This is a pattern that they have available for sale. So this is, you could go in any direction with a Green Man type motif like this. You typically see autumn leaves, and sometimes you see green leaves. This is kind of a mix of leaves, very primary palette. You could go in any direction with this. I really want to do one that's like lots of like spring greens, just very, very, very spring. But also autumn would be a great one. But yeah, that is the last one for tonight. You love the Green Man too, Relda, huh?
I love the Green Man.
Me too. Oh, love it. When outhouses were in fashion, Carol says. I missed the beginning of that. When were outhouses in fashion, Carol? I missed the beginning of that joke. Oh, probably the commode, right? Commode humor.
Commode humor, yes.
Commode humor is still very in our family.
Oh, God. It just breaks us up every time.
We have created, I would say, dozens of verses to the Diarrhea song. I mean, just single-handedly. We have added to the canon, like I think no other single family has contributed. Commode humor, we love it. Keep it coming. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think we found some really nice quotes, and it was really fun searching for some rugs that really sort of resonated with the quote. And again, if you are sitting on some quotes or listening tonight made you think of your favorite saying or something that they said in your family, like I was saying, I won't say the bad part at the end of it, but like one of the ladies in one of my Atha groups sent out a mail, and she said she was hooking something that had an expression like, "Oh, my buttons and bows," or something like that.
Yes.
And she said, "Oh, in our family, whenever anything like really bad happened, high emotion, someone would shout out, 'Oh, my buttons and bows.'" And I thought,
really?
Well, that's not what we shouted.
Our family.
Our family, we shouted a lot of stuff, but that was never one of them. But it was super cute. So she's hooking a "Oh, my buttons and bows" rug.
I love
so
that.
I love that too. If you have a funny expression that you've had in your family, please send it to me, because I'll probably do this again in 6 weeks or so. Look at funny sayings. It's another way that we can share. You can share your sayings. And if you can think of a rug that matches it, you can send me that too. But if you don't, I'll find a rug that seems to go with the sentiment behind the saying. So I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. Remember, 2 of the original designs I showed you tonight are on ribbon candy hooking, as is the new yarn set, the Fiestaware, that's available now. I'll show it one more time. And Penelope Plaid is up there too for the May kit. I'll be sending that out this coming week because I'm going to be adding the velvet that I haven't gotten yet. Diane is not late. I was just late in thinking of the idea. I'm going to send you a bunch of that velvet, a bunch of Pradi leaves to do the neck, and some ribbons, the fancy ribbons I've shown already. All of that is going to be part of the kit too. So that will ship this week for sure. I know Diane shipped right away, so I'll probably get it tomorrow. And the Fiestaware kit, 20 new colors. So all of these things are on ribboncandyhooking.com. This is a lot of yarn. So it's 20 yards of each. So yeah, a lot of fun to do hit or miss stuff or little stuff. Or
did you want to show him again?
Yeah, let me show
him one more time.
Penelope one more time. Penelope Plaid. And again, you do this any way you want. It comes with these colors. It comes with the silhouette of the sheep, the pink, the party pink border, the grassy green, the dove gray, the lilac, and the sort of grape green that's a mix, and the hand-dyed antique black and antique brown with the full skein of the white chenille that I think worked really well for Penelope's body. So all of those things come in your kit. Plenty always to complete the kit. Stuff. Yes. And all the Pradi stuff for the neck. So that's the part I haven't done yet because I haven't gotten it yet, but it will be done and it will come in your kit too. So lots of fun to play with that. That'll be the May kit. I hope you had a great night. Have a great weekend, everybody. It was great seeing you all. Oh, you are so welcome. Your grandparents. Did your grandparents have commode humor too, Carol? Or they had an outhouse? Now I'm lost. Probably. Oh, Kirsten says very fun. It was very fun. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, happy Mother's Day,
be a mother,
everyone.
But we have all had one. That is a great point. Love to moms everywhere. That is a great point. Carol, thank you for saying that. Yeah, we are not all mothers, but we have all had one, and we love to remember, right? Love to remember and celebrate. Kira says, oh, great night. Thank you, and Helen. Cheers, and happy Mother's Day. Cheers, my dears. Happy weekend, everybody. Happy Mother's Day if you're celebrating. Otherwise, if you are in the Mother's Day evening Dutch dyeing class, like the Tulip Fields class, I will see you on Sunday night. That's a big group on Sunday night. We will have tons of fun. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday for an episode on Mrs. Harry King at last. And the reason is because Jay found a Mrs. Harry King rug today. Boop-a-doop at an antique store. Unheard of, impossible to find, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be refreshing myself on the Mrs. Harry King book that she wrote. I'll be refreshing on that, and then we'll start Mrs. Harry King commentary on Monday. Have a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day. I will see you all for coffee time on Monday, noon Eastern Standard Time. See you then. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
And then it has a little bit of a delay, so I wait just a couple of seconds.
Yes.
Aww. It's so fun to see people chatting with each other. Ooh, what was this? I missed this one. Holly says, my grandmother used to say, it's about to be a frog choker because a really hard rain. It's about to be a frog choker before a really hard rain. Huh. It's about to be a frog choker. How neat is that? I wonder where that comes from.
I don't know.
Frog choker. How funny.
What area is she from?
Oh, that's a good question. I'll have to find out.
Yeah.
All right.